Well, hello there, and welcome to an extra special live interview version of Plays Well with Others. And I'm here with Man About Town. No, that's not good.
Yeah, this got weird.
It got weird fast. Nothing fancy, just your introduction here. So, please.
Not fancy enough.
Here's Chris.
Hi!
Hello and welcome to a special live interview in person episode of Plays Well with Others, where I'm speaking with Moderator Chris from the Flip the Table podcast. And for viewers who may not be familiar with who you are and what you do on your podcast, give us a quick rundown all about you.
Sure will. Flip the Table is a podcast about cheesy, weird, and obscure board games. So if you're familiar with the Thrift series on Paradise,
I am.
Kind of like that. Yeah, I thought you might have heard of it. So we look for games based on movie licenses, TV licenses, old VCR games, the opposite of the stuff that you're going to find on the Dice Tower channel. And we really, it's a little bit Mystery Science Theater mixed with the Dice Tower podcast, where we kind of deep dive these games and pick them apart and make fun of them. And then there's a game show at the end. So that's the basic rundown of it.
Who are your co-hosts?
We have Flip Flory, our favorite party clown. We have Jared Hunnefeld, Professor Laserbooks, Chris Sparter, as well as a couple of other contributing panelists like Ben and Nikki and some others that help us out from time to time.
And how many episodes have you done today?
Oh, we're in the 90s or so.
Really?
Yeah, it's I can't believe we played that many weird games. It's my attic right now it's like a thrift store exploded in there. It's a little nuts.
Well, speaking of thrift stores, I mean, that's kind of the common thread that we have going on here, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Because, with my own Thrift Sift series, I will do segments on just the, really, really interesting or really bizarre games that catch my eye at a thrift store. And there's something about these games that for some reason, I think you're the same way. You're drawn to these. Even if I wasn't making a segment about them, I'd still be drawn to them and maybe even still get them just because being lured to, I don't know if it's the ironicness of them or what, but what is it that you think draws us to these cheesy, weird, and obscure board games that we find at thrift stores?
Well, I think sometimes it's just curiosity, right?
No, that's not it.
No, that's not it.
No.
In the same way that, I guess the best example I can give is the movie Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter that came out a few years ago. I didn't expect to go in like then it's going to be the Daniel Day-Lewis movie, that level of drama. It's because I had to know. You had to see it. You had to experience it just to have the experience. And a lot of that is a matter of paradigm, a willingness to open your mind to different experiences that you might not otherwise try. Because in our hobby, we are very proud of the fact that we play more advanced games or more, tightly designed, more elegant games. Not a lot of us in the hobby go on and talk about the great game of Connect 4 we played a few days ago.
I won. Where? I can't. Here, diagonally. Pretty sneaky, sis.
But that doesn't mean that Connect 4 is not fun. And so it's about trying new experiences and trying new things. And I think hit or miss is a polite way to put it. We play a lot of really bad stuff, but once in a while we find a real jewel we otherwise would never have found.
So do you think, if you were to give it a percentage, the curiosity and just the ironicness of, I'm playing this game because it's just so silly that I found this. How much of it is your drive towards these games, that type of thing, versus looking for that diamond in the rough and actually kind of almost treasure hunting and trying to find something that you actually found a good experience in this strange old box?
Yeah, what we try to do on the show is we try to go into every game expecting something positive as much as possible, which is tough sometimes, but I find that definitely helps us to find more of those diamonds in the rough.
Okay. Your mindset.
Drawing the Mystery Science Theater comparison, what those guys were very good at doing is taking something that, taken by itself, is not necessarily entertaining, but looking for what is good and funny about it. And that can actually, in some ways, pull a game out of one category and into another if you go looking for it. And that's the challenge that we try to do on the show. We don't just, say, LOL, this game is terrible, and have that kind of attitude toward it. We're like, what can we pull out of this game that's fun or funny or entertaining or unique? Now, are we always successful? No. And we'll tell you if a game is not that way. That is probably one of the biggest joys about Flip the Table is that we can, even if it's a game we'll never play again, we might find an element or a mechanism or something like that that is unique and fun that we can at least talk about. So it almost becomes a game design discussion.
So even with all these mass market, generically designed, for lack of a better word, games based on broad appeal IPs from the 80s and 90s and stuff, even with just these games that are kind of stamped out at a corporate level, you still find original mechanisms and things sometimes in them?
Absolutely,
oh.
Yeah. A great example of that is one we played recently, which was from, I think it was the 60s. It's a game called Ice Cube.
Okay.
And in Ice Cube, it is a game where you are literally melting ice cubes. Like you make ice cubes in your freezer.
Actual physical ice cube, not little replicants of plastic or anything. An actual ice cube out of your freezer.
Real ice from the freezer.
Okay.
You make them, and you need a special ice tray to do this. You can't just use any old ice tray.
Just make it like have a thing to make it stand up.
Yeah. Like you put it on a standy pole, and that becomes your mover pawn.
Okay.
And on each player's turn, they spin a spinner and they torture another ice cube, and the last ice cube that is still on its little standy thing is the winner. So you're pouring salts and warm water.
You're actually trying to melt it.
You are literally trying to melt ice. Now, I'm describing this game to you. If I describe this to you on the street with no Flip the Table context or Thrift Sift context or anything like that, you would probably say, I have to go paint my refrigerator now. I'm busy. I have to take care of things. But when we played it, it turned out to be just amazingly fun because we were willing to open our minds and try it, right? In some ways, that's how I am with some heavier games or games with less theme.
Okay.
I try to take that same approach because a game like Dominion, when I was first getting into the hobby, that's pretty well themeless. I mean, it's got a very, very thin layer of theme. And when I first saw it, I was like, this looks like something I would be bored to tears by.
Okay.
And then I tried it, and it became my favorite game.
Because you went in it with that same mindset?
Right. It's like, we need to at least try stuff. And so even here at Dice Tower Con, I've tried a couple of things I might not have otherwise tried, but really enjoyed. So that mindset can be applied to the modern hobby market as well as just the weird stuff in the thrift store.
That does make sense, and that is a neat tool to have available in your gamer tool set, because that could open you to a lot of experiences that you otherwise would have just ignored.
Yeah, exactly. And are you going to be 100% successful all the time? No. Yeah, I mean, and certainly you have to balance your time. Using reviews and previews to get that information first is definitely helpful. But at the end of the day, you just got to be willing to try stuff. And I've been incredibly surprised at the people who will try stuff with us when we come to conventions like Dice Tower Con. Let me tell you about the McDonald's game. One of our favorite episodes we've ever done.
Okay.
And the gentleman who gave us that game is actually here at the con. I got to shake his hand in person, which was fantastic.
That's so cool.
And the McDonald's game is from the 70s. It is literally a game about going to McDonald's and filling orders.
That sounds terrible.
Right. The customer is reading the order almost as though they're in the drive-thru waiting at the speaker.
Okay.
And players are not allowed to start that order until the customer says please. So it's a game of memory.
Okay, so they have to read off, I want 2 cheeseburgers, a filet-o-fish, an apple pie, a chocolate shake, please. And then everyone scrambles to fulfill it first?
Right.
Okay.
And some of the cards have conditions where they will change the order halfway through. So it'll scramble things up.
Yeah, so you got all it stored in your memory because you can't start till they say please, but then they change the rules on you at the last minute.
Exactly.
Okay.
And on top of that, once you finish your order, the way that you lock in your order is you take a marble and you throw it in this plastic chute, like this tube, and it has this bowl at the top where it kind of spins around. So if 2 people throw in at the same time, you don't know whose is going to come out first.
That is unique.
So in this one phase, you have this memory game, this dexterity game, this speed game, and there is no reason a game about probably one of the most corporate entities in existence should be this much fun. but it is, and people love it. And we go to conventions, and people sit around, they're cheering, let's go to McDonald's, and making noise. And we actually run a tournament at our local con, SnowCon, every year. We had a 12-man tournament last year, the grand prize of which was an all-expenses-paid trip to McDonald's, which...
Let the punishment fit the crime.
Yeah, and I can tell you, it's a beautiful thing when you've got 3 tables of people playing this at the same time, because at one time or another, all of them are cheering, let's go to McDonald's. That's
fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's one of those experiences that is definitely something where without the program and what you're putting together, the media you're putting together, I don't think that type of scenario ever would have developed organically. It's something
right.
where you made this discovery, and it created an entirely new experience for you and these other players that, like you said, at first glance, it would just be ignored.
Right.
And that sounds like it's really a rewarding thing that you've gotten out of the show and out of actually looking at these thrift store games and stuff.
It is, and it's something that victories like that make all the bad ones worth it. Honestly, because we found maybe 5 or 6 games that have graduated to just our normal game shelf rotation. Probably the best example is the Ninja Turtles Pizza Power game, where with just a couple of small tweaks, we turned it from a weird roll and move game into a cooperative game, and it plays very well that way, and we have a lot of fun with it.
So modern board gaming principles have helped salvage some of these games then.
Yeah, if you're willing to try it, it's a really fun design exercise to say, what can we do with what's in the box already to, now that we've played it once or twice, eliminate some of the problems or make it more fun. It's almost like playtesting a prototype, honestly.
The way you described it is almost like the recent game 504 in reverse.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on. This is great.
Yes, I know. I'm so glad that I stumbled into your room by mistake. So it worked out so fortuitously. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and for more board game news, reviews, and commentary, be sure to subscribe to the Dice Tower and Pair of Dice Paradise YouTube channels. And for more cheesy, weird, bizarre, off-the-shelf board game media, be sure to also check out Flip the Table with Moderator Chris, Flip Flory, Professor Laserbooks, and Jared Hunnefeld. And until then, we'll talk to you in the comments, and see you again soon.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Hey, I wrapped up the interview. I'll be right down to the gaming hall. It's going a little longer than I expected, but I'll be right down. Okay. Yeah, I'm wrapping up right now, and I'll be right down. See you soon. Hey guys, yes. Believe me, I'm ready.